Nicole and Margaret. We still have
Hello.
some folks hanging on. Well, we're going to go through all of this, kind of give you a what to expect for mitochondrial medicine 2023. This will be recorded. So if you're too tired and you don't want to hang with us tonight, that's quite all right. You can put questions in the Q&A, and I'm sure Margaret and Nicole can, or whoever's not talking can look at those and see if we can answer them. If not, we will answer them post-webinar if we can. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, I'm Kara Strittmatter, and I'm the Director of Education and Support Services. And you've already heard from Margaret. And then we have Nicole Wilson, who is our UMDF Program Manager, joining us. And we're just going to kind of go through what to expect. Just here's a little bit what we're going to go over this evening. We're going to look at the mobile app. We're going to look at the layout of the land, the hotel land, kind of give a day-by-day schedules at a glance. We're going to talk about a new program called the Clinical Research Pavilion, which you're going to end up getting some emails about that soon. And we're really hoping this is a new program that we're very excited about. I'll give some family program session highlights, the LHON program and session highlights. Doctors in and Ask the Mito Doc will kind of cover how that works and what's the difference. And then Margaret will talk about the teen sessions and networking opportunities and special sessions. And then, of course, we want to just kind of share a little bit about our exhibitors and supporters, and then just general information, just some things, some housekeeping items to think about before you come. So here's our mobile app. If you've registered, and I'm sure you've seen some emails about the mobile app, we started it last year in 2022, and it was brand new. So we've learned some new things with it too, but it really is the best thing. We're going green. We're trying not to have a bunch of paper. And it's a really great way to navigate the meeting, to network with other people, to learn about the speakers. And it's you can customize your own agenda. So like you can add sessions that you just want to make sure you don't miss, that you'll have your very own agenda that you can build in there. So I really encourage you, if you register, to make sure that you download that app. And if you were there last year, just make sure that you just simply need to log in and click the exit button and look at the top left corner. Then you'll see the UMDF Mitochondrial Medicine 2023, because it'll have both sessions. So you just have to make sure you switch to the new event in the app. So here's our lay of the land. This is the Sheraton, and this is where our meeting space is. So I'm just going to quickly go through. So here is the lobby. You go this arrow. This is where you're going to be coming from. If you're staying at the hotel, you'll come in here. Registration will be right here as soon as you walk through this foyer. The doctors will be in the A and C all week, from Wednesday to Saturday, and then D and E will be used for the poster sessions in the beginning, the scientific posters, but then we'll be using them for family sessions on Friday and Saturday. Mecklenburg 2 and 3, which is right here, that's our LHON sessions will be in there. The Mitochondrial Medicine Society will be there in the early part of the week, but we will have the LHON sessions in 2 and 3. Then these governor ballrooms that are at the top right-hand side, that's basically the doc is in. We might use them for special sessions for the newly diagnosed. The teen sessions in purple will be there. And again, for those who are visually impaired and LHON, we are actually going to have another webcast with your folks who are registered, and we'll kind of walk you through a little bit more. But also, please know we will have volunteers on site too to guide you, because I know it's hard for you to, I'm sitting here describing all of this, and if you're visually impaired, you may not be able to see and understand what I'm talking about in here, but we will definitely guide you through that. And then over here, the parking garage is the arrow that points this way. The parking garage is then when you're walking through, you'll come into the exhibitor area. We will also have a UMDF presence here as well, our exhibit booth. And then you have the Symphony Ballroom is where all our meals are. There'll be some sessions in there. And then this blue over here, the left-hand side on the far left, is the Clinical Research Pavilion, and we'll kind of give you a better description of that soon. I wanted to point out, Nicole said earlier, you see these little stairs here, you might think, oh, those are stairs and we have to walk. This is all on the ground level. Our symposium is all on the ground level floor. Those stairs go to another space that we are not using. So you don't have to worry about doing steps to get into our meeting space, which is really
I also have another comment, Kara. If people are driving in, They also will not have any steps going from the parking garage to the space if they park on level 2. If you park on level 2, you walk right into our meeting space.
Thank you, Margaret. That's a great tip. All right. So at a glance, if you've been to our symposium before, you kind of know the lay of the land with our sessions, but Wednesday through Saturday are basically there's running all week are the scientific and clinical sessions. We have a clinical research pavilion that will be opening, and we'll talk about that next. Thursday, we're going to do a family kickoff, which is new. We typically have had a meet and greet type thing before on Thursday, very casual, but we really want to encourage you to come early if you can, because we will start at 3:00 on Thursday and have a kickoff, kind of just, again, what to expect. We'll have a better idea of, where you're going to go, and we can tell you about some more of the sessions. We can even be hands-on with the mobile app preceding the kickoff. Brian Harmon's going to kind of talk about some of our different initiatives that'll be going on and what the staff and who the staff is that's going to be there that you can talk to. So it's kind of really cool kickoff, and I hope you will make sure you come early and join for that if you're attending. And then Friday and Saturday is our full-blown patient family sessions, LHON sessions, doctors in, teen sessions, the accelerator big pitch in the evening of energy, banquet, just a lot going on. So while I said that everything's green, we do have these URLs that will be available. We'll send them, it'll be on our mobile app, but we can also send them in some of our e-communications that you could go ahead and print a hard copy of the schedule. If you're one of those people that have to have it in your hand, which a lot of people do, I know I have doctors, I had to print those out for them in the past. You can do that and have that printable in your hand to take with you. Now I'm going to start off with the clinical research pavilion. I'm going to kick it over to Miss Nicole to tell us all about it.
Thank you, Kara. Yeah, this is a really exciting addition to Mitochondrial Medicine 2023. This is our pilot one, so please be patient with us while we go through everything. But really, the goal of the pavilion is to capture patient data. And it's just to help advance research towards better diagnostics and treatments. And we're really encouraging everybody to really be excited about it and to be involved if you're able to. One of the first steps that you're going to want to do if you are interested in joining one of the studies, and they go from motor skills to digital video assessments. We also have a pediatric one that's more of a take-home kit too, that you can take home to your littles. But what's really great is, or the first step is where I was at next, was if you go to umdf.org/symposium, that's where you're going to see the interest form. So that's going to be your very first step, is filling out that interest form. You'll hear from me. I'll reach out to you and tell you the next steps, which will be joining MitoShare patient registry, uploading genetic testing information, all of that different things that will get you ready to get your time slots for your participation in one of the studies. So, but really, really exciting. And I'm looking forward to seeing everything play out. And it's really going to be an important part of the symposium.
And I wanted to add to that, Nicole, one of the things I think is really great about this too, is that it doesn't have to be, if you've always wanted to help and be a part of research, they're also going to be doing healthy controls for the motor skills assessment. So you as a caregiver can go and do a healthy control. You can do the assessment too, because they really do need to have those healthy controls too in a clinical study. So you can be a part of it. Even if you're not the patient, you're the caregiver, you can still be a part of it. And it's invaluable information that'll help us move clinical trials and drug development forward.
Absolutely.
All right, so some of the session highlights. Of course, Friday, we always have our big UMDF and State of Mito Medicine that'll take place. And I think Brian's going to try to mix it up a little bit this year and do some interview style with different folks from the key opinion leaders, patients, volunteers, doctors. And so it's going to be a really fun kickoff on Friday morning. We will also have the clinical trial updates on Friday morning, and Dr. Zulkifli Cunningham will be doing that presentation. What's really cool about her presentation is she's going to use some of the real life data that they're going to be collecting on Wednesday and Thursday. So from her, from the motor skills assessment, because she's the PI, primary investigator for that. So I think that's really cool. The mitochondrial disease and therapy track, we're going to have physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists. Who else do we have, Margaret? We have orthotics.
Orthotics, yeah, all sorts of folks.
Really exciting. There's a nice team there in Charlotte that is helping us with that program, and I think it's going to be very helpful, and hopefully you'll walk away some really good hands-on tips for the therapy track. We will also have genetic testing landscape talk on that afternoon. These will run concurrently, but remember, we record all our sessions and they will be available post-symposium. So if you miss something, don't worry, you can always watch it at another time. The disease breakouts, that's something we tried last year. We just did a Lee syndrome because that was our largest group, and we did have a Lee's track last year. This year we have like 4 different groups that we're targeting. I think we'll have a PDCD disease breakout, Lee, MELA, CPEO, KSS, and POLG. So we're really kind of looking, when you fill out your registration form, if you haven't registered first yet, and there is a question on your diagnosis, and that's helping us to know how many people we're going to have for those disease-specific groups. So if you do mark that, you will be notified, that what room in the mobile app will make announcements as to where those rooms are so that you can attend those. And we have a doctor, a clinician's going to be in there. We'll have volunteers in there, ambassadors, staff, and it's more of a conversation. And we're going to try to get some researchers in there as well. So I think it's a really cool addition this year as well. Saturday.
I don't know if you mentioned, Kara, that I think TK2D is another disease.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, TK2. Why? I didn't have it right in front of me. That's why. Yes, we will have that. It'll be a small group, but we definitely will have that breakout as well. Thank you, Margaret. Saturday, we have the family planning track. Now that, again, is a whole group of different speakers on different times of planning along the way in your journey. So I think we kick it off with Beth Whitehouse. She's going to talk about estate planning. We'll have Dr. Marnie Falk talking about reproductive planning, which is a huge thing in our community. And then we'll have some financial planning, housing transitioning, which is also huge. People are, their children are needing housing. There's some transitioning there, and there's a lot of questions, when getting that accomplished in your life. So we're really excited about that session. We have some grief, loss of a loved one, loss of mobility. And then we have in the afternoon of that planning track, some government, what is it, Margaret? Government planning or government programs. And I think that'll be programs. Yes. And I think that's huge too in our community. So planning for that and learning as much as you can. And it's really by a couple of our ambassadors have been there and done that. So they'll really share some great information with you. So then our Ask the Mito Doc panel, we talked about that. And I think Margaret didn't have the name of the physicians, but they are posted on the schedule. But it's Austin Larson, Eva Marava-Kosiks, Jaya Ganesh, Dr. Ali from Akron, Mary Kay Koenig, Muge. I can't pronounce her name. Margaret, can you say her name, please? Oh, you're on mute.
Dr. Shalikolu, Muge. Everyone calls her Dr. Muge.
Dr. Muge.
So yeah. For the local ones, they know her.
Yeah. And then Dr. Russell Senato, which we're really excited about having him back because he hasn't been with us for the last couple of years. So we're really excited to have him there. So then we go on to Positive Mindset for Life. I mean, this is a combined session with the LHON program. And I think we're really excited about a local speaker coming and just kind of moving you through that positive journey. And giving you some real hands-on tips, I think, in doing that. Are you out of breath? This is something we did with Dr. Zil Kipley Cunningham a couple of years ago. Oh, gosh, it's been a while. I don't even know how long ago that was, but it was very well attended. Pulmonary issues, right? And breathing.
It was 2019. It was called Are You Out of Breath?
Yes. And she's going to repeat that session. And we're excited about that. And then we're going to have a closing. And we're just going to be talking to some patients, doctors, people that attended, some of those aha moments that you experienced at symposium. So we hope you'll join us for closing out the program then on Saturday afternoon. The LHON program. So they'll have a track that runs the entire time, Friday and Saturday. Friday, they'll have an LHON welcome. they'll have their panels, the Living with LHON, the LHON Science Panel, which they'll have doctors that'll be attending those to give some updates in the scientific community. They have a community update. And then they'll have some really cool top 5 questions I get asked about assistive technology, which I think is really cool. So that's going to be a great session. And then Living with LHON panel number 2, those panels are like when they have patients kind of sharing stories, and Maria Johnson and Jessica Loomer usually moderate that. And again, if you're attending these sessions, we're going to do something a little extra on this and a different webcast. So you'll hear a little bit more about these sessions. And then the Navigating Employment with LHON with, I think that's with Jessica Loomer, and that'll be a really good session as well. And then of course they have their LHON closing on Saturday. All right. I know I'm talking really fast because I know it's late, but this is going to be on a webcast recording, and you can fast forward through me and skip to whatever you want. All right, the Doctors In program. Margaret, would you like to kind of share?
I sure would. For those of you that have attended the mitochondrial medicine in the past, you know what the Doctor Is In is. It's one of our most popular programs. It is an opportunity to schedule a 15-minute time to meet a new doctor. This isn't a medical appointment by any means, but it is a chance for you to throw some ideas out on maybe something new that you might try, maybe even to meet a doctor that you've considered scheduling an appointment with. We have hours from 10 to 12 on Friday, and then 3 to 4 on Friday, and then Saturday from 9:30 to 12:30. We have a whole slew of doctors that are participating. I wrote some of these down, and I'm going to let you just go to the schedule because that'll take up time. But it is a wonderful opportunity for you to, like I said, meet somebody new. I can't tell you how many people have told me that it's one of their favorite things they get to do. There will be digital signups, so that will launch on Thursday evening via the app. So just know that that's how that'll happen. We'll talk you through it and when you register. But it is a really important thing
we do have volunteers that'll be there during the digital sign up to kind of help you, in navigating that sign up process. So you won't be on your own with the app. We will have folks there to help you with that.
Yeah, it's a great program, and it does fill up. So you'll want to know what the exact time is to get it started. Everyone gets to sign up for one spot. If we do find ourselves with some extra spaces, we will make that available to you through a reminder on the app or some way. Isn't that what we're planning on doing, Kara? If we did have some extras.
Yep.
Oh, are you on the panel or did you teens? Which one's next?
This is Dr. Zen, and this is the panel.
No, the panel. Okay, so the Mito Doc Panel is, again, something we've done every year. This year's a little bit different because we're going to include all ages in one panel. This will go on Saturday, July 1st from 10:30 to 11:30.
Actually, that's
not right.
I'm sorry. We are going to go a full 90 minutes. It'll go till
90 minutes. Yes.
We wanted to give a little bit more time.
Yeah. And this is basically no program, all questions. So it is a one question after another, guided. I will be moderating, but basically you'll be able to ask questions via Zoom if you're at home. So this is something you can participate, even if you're not attending the conference. It'll be a Zoom just like this one. Or if you're there, you'll be able to raise your hand and ask questions. So it's an interesting mix. The doctors, as Kara mentioned, are Austin Larson, Dr. Abram Ravakozitz, Dr. Ganesh, Dr. Alai, and Mary Kay Koenig from Houston, Dr. Mugay, and Dr. Sinedo. Really important that you submit questions ahead of time, because that helps us to get everything organized and make sure we get as many questions answered as possible. For those of you that were on earlier during the talk today, it helps when doctors can answer in the Q&A on the Zoom right there, and so we get more questions answered for you that way. This is also an opportunity. A lot of our Mito docs that we have throughout the year have a very specific topic. And this is your chance to ask questions that are not of a specific topic. So we hope that you'll all join us, whether you're going to be attending symposium or not. Next one, the teen sessions. Oh, so fun. So for those of you that have never attended Symposium, all fan favorites are the teens. We just love seeing their joyful selves, having a good time at Symposium. And this year we have a really good setup for them. They'll start out on Friday just talking about COVID and safety. And, if they are feeling like they still want to wear a mask, we want to provide that for them and make sure they have what they need to feel comfortable in the teen space. So we'll start out with a little bit of conversation about that, then move on to our sort of roundtable discussion with Dr. Goldstein. No parents allowed. All questions are acceptable. And she loves doing it. The teens love having it. Then we're going to have a quick dance class with Wendy, so that everybody will be prepared for the dance on Friday evening. We have a STEM activity. We're going to be doing robotics. I tried to get wild animals into the hotel, but it was a no-go. Sorry, guys, I tried. Music therapy is next. We have two music therapists coming that will be all set up with instruments and et cetera for our teens. It's going to be really cool. And then our evening of energy, which is our banquet and dance. A little bit different this year. Usually that's separate from what everybody else does, but we decided the more the merrier. And the teen dance is going to start out in our banquet. So we're looking forward to that. Saturday, we'll bright and early start out with healthy mind and body with Jamie Peterson, who is a social worker from genetic counselor, from CHOP. Mm-hmm. And there they talk about all of the important things that teens need to know to start on a healthy adult life. Really excited about that. After that, we have Lou coming in to do positive mindset, to help our teens take in what they've done over the past day and put it into a positive place. Follow that up by some yoga to chill them all out, do an art project, and then they will join us for our the words left me, not kickoff. Closing. Yes, not the closing. Kickoff's at the beginning. The closing. And so we'll have our teens come and join us for that. So we're excited about it. It should be a great program. So
you already kind of covered the teen dance.
The photo booth's going to be there for everyone, though. That's something new too. So we want to see all kinds of crazy pictures of all of our Mito people. So start planning on what you're going to do on your photo booth picture.
All right, and then we're going to go to networking opportunities and special sessions. And again, we kind of already talked about
we've talked about everything except for we didn't talk about geographic lunch yet.
Right.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, the geographic lunch, we've done this year after year as well. Basically, it's by region, just so people can kind of get to know each other. And that includes the scientists and researchers. We all lunch together on Friday. So it's kind of nice. You get to actually, we encourage the scientists and researchers to sit in their region so they can kind of get to know the patients and families from that area. So those will be set up in the banquet room on Friday so that we can kind of just a little extra networking by region. And we already did talk about the disease-specific discussion groups and evening of energy. But how about coffee and conversation, Margaret? Why don't you talk a little bit?
I want to talk about that. And I want to talk a little bit about, we've been doing coffee and conversations maybe for 5 years. And the reason this even started is that our families wanted a place to gather and in some instances share what they've learned, but also to connect in a very more structured way. They wanted a place to be able to get together, really. And so we created Coffee and Conversations. It happens in the morning. It is always staffed by our amazing, I don't know what I would do without them. For those of you that are still on here on the call helping, thank you. The supporting ambassadors do so much for us. But this is one of the places where they've been a part of it since the beginning. So everybody comes into a large area. We divide it up into tables based on topic. So if you are a parent of an 8-year-old, you have a couple options. You can go to the IEP table. You can go to the parents and caregivers table. You can go to the getting involved table. Or if you're an adult, it's the same thing. You can attend the adult conversation, the getting involved conversation. So there are multiple opportunities for you to connect with others surrounding a topic. You can go from table to table. And then we have two special ones this year that are going to be in different places. One is going to be navigating a diagnosis with Pat Arnold, whom you may have met earlier if you weren't here. She is a social worker from UT Health in Houston. And we will have a special Lee syndrome coffee and conversation, meet the researchers. And that's brand new. We have several, posters and other scientists that are coming that are focused in the Lee space, and they're going to be there for you to ask questions, for casual conversation about topics surrounding Lee syndrome. Again, it's a really important opportunity for our families to get together, and we're excited about it.
And then Nicole, you want to?
Of course. And really, none of this would be possible without our amazing exhibitors and sponsors. So we encourage everybody to go and visit their booths while you're at Symposium. I'll just give highlights to some of those. That's UCB, the Edith L. Treese Charitable Trust, Akron Children's Hospital, the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Reneo Pharmaceuticals, Stealth Biotherapeutics. And then we also have some more, and that's PTC Therapeutics, Manovia, Solus Nutrition, Summit Health Pharmacy. We also have Abliva, Delta Gamma Foundation, GeneDx, the Haggerty Family Foundation, Seattle Children's, NIH Metabolism, Infection, and Immunity Program, Religion Incorporated, Cell Therapeutics, and Variantics. So we thank you to everybody.
And we actually, this is just so you know, because this is going to be recorded, we are getting new exhibitors and sponsors all the time. Matter of fact, we had one just come in today before I could even get it on this slide with Astellas. So we're really excited about them coming and supporting us this year as well.
Yes, thank you.
And now I'm going to go into some general housekeeping and information. So, there's always that what's for breakfast? Well, okay. So basically, anyone who requested vegetarian or gluten-free with their registration, you'll be provided an insert with your registration materials that you would provide to the hotel staff. At least that's what we've done in the past. More than likely, that'll be the same situation, but you'll find that out at registration when you check in. If you noted other dietary needs beyond vegetarian or gluten-free, there are times that Janet will contact the hotel prior to, but really, I think it's better for you, especially if you have a lot of dietary needs, it may be better for you to contact the hotel directly to accommodate those needs. Continental breakfasts are basically usually oatmeal, bread, pastries, yogurt, fruit, cereal. That's generally what we have. If you need something a little bit more substantial, like bacon and eggs, you'll have to go to the hotel restaurant for those. Now, housekeeping in the way of, we always hear about this every year, the rooms are cold. It's hot in Charlotte, but the hotel rooms are very difficult to regulate that temperature. So make sure you dress in layers, bring a sweater, bring a sweatshirt, because it can be very cold in there, because if it's too hot, we've had somebody pass out from the heat just being too hot. So it's really hard to regulate. So more than likely they're going to err on being chillier and cooler than warm. There will be wheelchair rows. And of course, those of you that are registered and you requested a scooter, scooters will be available for you. And you'll get those when you check in as well at registration. We will have closed captioning. We'll probably be working through the hotel, either through a Zoom setup or something where it'll be up on the screens. But we suggest that you sit up close, for those so that you can see them. And again, we're going green. So all information is in the mobile app. If you prefer those hard copies, when you get that link, you might want to print those ahead before you come. All right, getting to the hotel. If you're traveling, if you're flying, I'm going to ask our communications department to put this on a web page so that you can have it handy after this meeting. But this is just kind of pre-arrival hotel information that the Sheraton has on their website. Just kind of gives you a little bit of info. There's the Charlotte Airport ground transportation link is on there. I looked at the taxi versus Uber Lyft prices. They're kind of about the same, but the Uber Lyft, typically it depends on your arrival time, as rates will vary. So you might want to just check out before you get there, just to see what the best thing is to do.
Yeah. And I wanted to also mention with Uber, keep in mind that you can book those ahead of time. So when you're using the Uber app, it allows you to schedule an Uber, which will be really helpful for either going to the airport more so than coming back from the airport. Although you can put in your arrival time, your flight number, all of that stuff, and then your Uber is well aware of it. But it may be helpful if you want to do that. That's an option as well through the Uber app.
Thanks, Nicole. That's great. And as part of our meeting contract, we are able to offer a $15 overnight parking and $10 daily, which is substantially lower than what their hotel costs are.
Yeah, so, and I want to throw out for our local families, you know, if you can carpool or if you can get dropped off, it's right there across from the aquatic, kind of across from the aquatic center on McDowell. It's pretty easy to get to, and you know that would lower that that daily expense if you carpooled and had somebody.
Right. And if you do, if you're not staying at the Sheraton and you do park, you'll just need to come to the registration desk, because I believe we'll have to provide some kind of a validation sticker or something for you to get that discounted rate. All right. And then I'm just going to end it with, hey, we're already set for 2024. We'll be in Cleveland. Cleveland rocks. The Hilton Cleveland downtown. It's a beautiful property, and it'll be the end of June 26th through the 29th. So if you can't attend this year in Charlotte, mark your calendars now and join us in Cleveland. I think it'll be an excellent meeting. If you have questions after this webcast, make sure you send them. You can send them directly to one of us, but you could also send it to the symposium@umdf.org mailbox, and we'll be happy to accommodate your questions. I know we did speak about the hotel. We didn't talk a lot about the hotel group rate. If you have not secured your hotel room, I know our room block is really filled up. We're kind of booked on certain nights. So sometimes if you go on there, it may say there's no rooms available. It may be just one night may not be available. We have asked for an addendum to see if we can increase our room block so that people can get that rate for the full days. If you've booked and you booked 2 different ones, please let us know and we'll send that to the hotel and say, please get them all under the same, room block and rate. Just let us know. It's one of those ongoing challenges with a hotel when you have a hotel contract to not book too many that you would be accountable for and not have enough. So we're constantly working with them, and the hotel's been pretty good about accommodating our requests. So just let us know if you're having any problems with that. I think that's it for tonight. And we will, again, have this available as a recording so that you can kind of scan through it at your leisure. Nicole, Margaret, anything more?
No, I'm just really excited to see everybody in June and looking forward to spending the week, especially with my coworkers that I haven't seen in a while.
I can't wait to see our families too. That is the hardest thing about the pandemic, is not being able to see your faces. So we look forward to the end of June. Right. How many days is it, Kara? I know you.
It's under 50. That's all I know.
I know. I think
I do want to say too that again, we know that some people cannot travel to the symposium. We can offer the Ask the Mito Doc virtually, but really we do record these. You will be able to watch most of the family sessions. So please know that. And also, even if you have a clinician that can't attend, or they don't have the budget to come to these kind of meetings, we do provide on Mito University the recordings in the fall that they could take those. They could watch those sessions and gain some valuable information from those sessions and see any credit as well. So just keep that in mind. And we will just bid you all a good night. And we look forward to seeing you in Charlotte.
Good night, everyone.
Night.